I used to rebuild my desk setup every couple months. After every upgrade I thought I liked, there was always this one little thing that would make me want to change it. And I've tried everything from cheap Walmart and Amazon desk to the IKEA desk hacks, all the way to standing desk and even super custom builds. With me working from home, I honestly just always thought I would want to be experimenting and upgrading. But then something changed. Over the last year, I don't want to change my desk at all. And that surprised me because it showed me what actually mattered. So let's talk about what I would actually buy now after all these years of getting it wrong. And if you're just starting out or even still experimenting, hopefully this saves you some time. Why the upgrades never stopped. When I look back at why I kept changing my desk, it wasn't because the desks were bad. It was because I was focusing on the wrong shit. Every desk that I would make followed the same pattern. I would upgrade one thing and then I would create a new problem. For example, I would focus on how the desk looked, how it was presented in the videos and to you guys, and then I would completely ignore the depth and usable space. Like, yes, the live edge looked sick, but it was unrealistic. I couldn't mount anything to the front side, and because of the live edge, I lost like 2 inches of usable depth. And 2 inches is a lot, ladies. I got you guys. Same thing could be said about stability. Some desks that I would make that I really wanted to look cool weren't that stable, and they just felt good enough until I used them every single day. I leaned heavy into the aesthetics. But once I stopped optimizing for image and I started optimizing for how I actually work, the upgrades stopped. Let's go into my 3 non-negotiables with desk setups. Before I would tell you what I would buy now, you need to understand these 3 things that I wouldn't compromise on anymore. Number 1, the depth. And I'm not talking about what the website advertises. Like, you have so much space. I'm talking about actual usable depth. Once you factor in a monitor arm or multiple monitor arms, a keyboard, a mouse where your hands are actually gonna sit, most desks are way shallower than what you think. Like anything under 28 inches fills up really fast. You start to feel cramped before you even realize why. If I can't mount front and back accessories to my desk, it's already failed me. Number 2, the stability. This is where good enough does not exist. If a desk moves when I lean, type, and rest my arms, not only is that so goddamn annoying, that movement compounds over time. It may be only so bad now, but it's gonna get worse, guaranteed. If I could put weight on the front edge and feel a flex or a wobble, it's not stable enough for daily work. It doesn't have to be industrial standard neither. It's just the desk shouldn't remind me it's there out of fear. Like, it shouldn't make me nervous. And number 3, expandability. And this is without replacement. Look, I don't need a desk that turns into a fucking transformer, but I do need a desk that doesn't force replacement every time my setup evolves. This is monitor arms, storage, cable management, layout changes, all without the desk becoming bottlenecked. If one change, like me moving this over here, that over there, forces me to start over, that's friction, not flexibility. Now, before we get into my desk, let's talk about who this is and who this isn't for. Look, if you're early on and you're moving spaces, upgrading gear, just figuring things out, experimenting is definitely the right move. You're learning what annoys you, what matters, because everyone's setup is subjective. But if you're working from home all day long or just spend a lot of hours at your desk and you're constantly thinking about your setup instead of working or creating or gaming, like you're spending more time with your fucking setup than being productive, that's when experimenting stops helping and gets in the way. If that sounds like you, this is what I've landed on and why. This is where I ended up. Not because it's flashy, but because it finally checks all the boxes that matter. I went with a large L-shaped standing desk. Not for more desks, but fewer compromises. I get real usable depth on both sides. No pulling my keyboard back and forth to find the sweet spot, no fighting monitor arms, and my space doesn't disappear when I sit down. It's solid enough to where I never even think about it. Both in sitting down and standing up, I can lean, type, shift positions, and it doesn't react. It's actually insane. And I can change everything around this desk without having to replace it. The layout works because of how I use it. One side is focused for work, editing, streaming, meetings, the creative station, if you would. The other side is for gaming and chilling. That setup alone stopped constant rearranging and me even trying to make an additional setup somewhere else. And you don't need an L shape for this. You need zones. For me, the L shape just makes them more permanent. And same thing with the standing desk. I didn't switch because standing is magically healthier. That's marketing. You don't have to have a standing desk to just get up and walk around and be healthier. I switched because I can change positions without changing the setup. I don't stand all day. I don't sit all day. The big thing for me is I don't get locked into one position. I have the option to just change it up a little bit. And look, this setup isn't for everyone. one, if you're tight on space, this thing is massive. Forcing it into a small room is gonna just suck. If you're somebody that's constantly moving locations too, this thing is a hefty bitch. Like, it's not easy to move. Locking into a desk like this just doesn't make sense yet. Also, if your budget's tight, a smaller desk that meets the basics will beat big desks that stress you out financially. And here's the big thing. If your desk isn't bottlenecked, don't upgrade just because you're poor. Fix your chair or upgrade your lighting, evolve your workflow first. For me, the desk was the bottleneck, and fixing it unlocked everything. The desk that I specifically landed on is from a company called Vernal, and it's good to point out that this video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. In this video, I'm not getting paid to push a product or promote a link. Even the link that I'm giving you guys in the description, there's no affiliation to it whatsoever. This is just me making a video talking about my setup. But I specifically went with their L-shaped executive standing desk. I like it because it doesn't look like a typical standing desk. No exposed legs, no industrial vibe, no tech office energy. Sure, I lose the real wood purity that I had from things like butcher blocks, and I'm fine with that. What I gain is stability and consistency in a desk that fits how I work. It checks all 3 non-negotiables and offers ways to expand. And this is not a budget desk. My particular configuration was around $1,500. Depending on the specs, I can change, and that's a lot of money. You can make a pretty solid setup nowadays for just a few $100s. But for me, it wasn't about getting a nice desk. It was about getting the desk that was gonna last. So if that price doesn't make sense for you, that's completely fine. I wouldn't recommend this unless you're settled and you already know the things that annoy you about the cheaper setups you've been testing. So my final takeaway here, I made a lot of videos about desk setups over the years, and what I've learned is the goal isn't to find the best desk. It's to find a desk that stops being the thing you think about. And look, the shit's fun. I genuinely enjoy making setup videos. It's actually been a challenge over the last 1.5 to 2 years, because as I've actually made the correct decisions and what I wanted to put together, it's hard to come up with ideas of things to do because you're just using the same thing again. There used to be this sweet spot where I was almost excited that I started not liking something about my desk because I was like, cool, more videos. But for me as a creator, there becomes a point where I started to realize that this is taking up way too much of my attention. I'm justifying on not building myself because I'm so busy building this setup, but hey, at least I'm being productive, right? But once you get something that allows you to focus on your work and your craft, you realize how much time you're wasting. If your desk gives you real depth, real stability, and room to evolve without forced replacements, it's doing its job. Once your desk disappears, you stop building setups and you start getting work done. Curious what you guys are currently using for your desk setups. Let me know in the comments down below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm out. Peace. Deuces.